My father was I grew up as a preacher's kid, and my mother, after she had 4 kids, went back to school and was able to teach then. So there were teachers and educators on all sides, and that, I'm sure, that influenced my interest and my ability. I did not major in education. I felt like I came out of school with a good, well-rounded liberal education. And then, toward the end of my college career, my mother said, "You need to get a teaching license." And she said, just put it in your pocket. And so I did, and I never regretted it. I really was dipped into the fire, because straight out of college, I moved to Chicago, and I tried to get a teaching job, and there wasn't any permanent, and it was in the middle of the year. So I substitute taught, and I went all over Chicago. But I ended up on the south side of Chicago in a school that was right across from the Robert Taylor projects, and I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a huge complex which has now been torn down, of all 100% African American, and very rough area. But that's where I started, and it just grabbed me. And so I ended up going into the teacher corps in Minneapolis and teaching on the north side, where there were a lot of American Indian kids. My world just kept expanding, and we ended up in South Carolina. Then I went to the Philippines and was in an international school there. And so that was a completely different population. And then I came back and ended up, after I got my doctorate, coming to the UNC Lab School here in Greeley. And that was a very special place for lots of reasons. The teachers there were incredible. Just, I mean, top notch. And I'd had enough experience to know that. After I left the lab school, when it was disbanded and then became university schools, I went down to Metropolitan State College, is what it was called then, in Denver, and joined the teacher education program there. Again, my universe expanded some more. So I feel like I've touched almost everything. Probably not, though. I'm sure there's more out there. So after I retired, I wasn't really looking for a lot to do. I sort of had to recoup. But once I did, I knew about the young Chautauqua, of course, and young Chautauqua. And I thought, boy, it would be fun to do that. And I didn't know very much about it, but I volunteered. We start out with trying to help kids choose a character in history that appeals to them, and then help them find out about that character and research that character. Then they create a presentation, a speech that they can give, a monologue to an audience, and we work on costuming. Costuming is fun. Once I started working with kids, I saw an opportunity to develop a character, and so I found out about Carrie Chapman Catt. Right after suffrage was voted in, she said, you know, women need to be educated when they vote. They need to know how to do this intelligently, and so she established the League of Women Voters. And the thing about the League of Women Voters that's unique is, number one, it's nonpartisan. We want people to advocate once they become educated. The voter education piece of the League is huge, and I think it's so important in a democracy. I don't know if I could put it in a nutshell, but it really is that we're all learning, and it never stops. You can never know too much. You can always learn more.